In explosive testimony at the Madlanga Commission, Major General Patronella van Rooyen, SAP's expert in governance and policy, criticized the decision to disband the political killings task team by saying it was outside the legal mandate of the suspended police minister. She emphasized that only the National Police Commissioner may alter SAP's structure.
Now we go to the substance. This is where you are now going to pull all of this together. Why these prescripts? Why these oversight mechanisms? After dealing with the disbandment, you're going to be dealing with whether there was a failure other than the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Policing, which did not do anything once it became aware of these allegations. And you are going to be discussing the question whether what happened here, which is on the version of General Sibiya and General Masemola, if that evidence is accepted, is it an issue that relates to lack of oversight mechanisms or inadequacies of legislation, or you say it relates to something else? You start then by addressing the topic, is the disbandment a policy decision or is it operational in nature?
And when, Mr. Muta, when you refer to General Sibiya, that is what he has said, you are referring to what we see from the annexures, yes. Because we are yet to hear his evidence.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, sorry, not General Sibiya. I apologize. I'm talking General Mkhwanazi and General Masemola.
Just as well, I
thanks.
The issue.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
I tried yesterday to say I'm not going to rename, but I see that the opening batsperson's chalice of poison has cascaded down. General, if I can then ask you to deal with that topic commencing from paragraph 93, where you say, from a regulatory standpoint, if I could ask you to take it from there.
From a regulatory standpoint, and based on the legislative excursus detailed above, I am of a view that the decision to disband the PKTT as a task team lay within the exclusive authority of a National Commissioner, and that the Minister did not have the legislative authority to disband the PKTT, let alone the manner in which he did. I say so for the following 6 reasons, one of which is in the alternative. Firstly, Section 206 of the Constitution enshrines the role of a minister primarily as that of providing policy direction at the national and provincial level. The Minister of Police is not a technocrat. His or her role is to advance the development of legislation and national police policy, particularly in respect of key issues that require executive attention. Therefore, a minister is empowered to select which areas warrant specialized intervention and attention, such as cash in transit, illegal mining, gangsterism, etc. However, a minister cannot prescribe or direct at an operational level, how policy is to be implemented. That is to be left to the National Commissioner, especially in view of the fact that this relates to the distribution and deployment of resources and has financial implications, which falls within the exclusive authority of a National Commissioner as the accounting officer of the Department of Police in terms of Section 36 of the Public Service Management Act. In the event that the Minister is of a view that a particular issue is no longer a priority and no longer warrants additional or specialized resources, the Minister is entitled to express that opinion or his position. However, its implementation falls within the exclusive remit of the National Commissioner.
And in fact, if I can just stop.
And what would the juristic nature of the expression of that position be?
I apologize, Chair. Can you just repeat the beginning?
You say that the Minister is entitled to express that position. That is,
yes.
If he's of a particular view that an issue is no longer a priority. So the minister is entitled to express that position. So my question is, what would the juristic nature of the expression of that position be?
Chair, for me, it's important that the minister in his engagement, either as the minister on political level or in his engagement with the communities, hear what they are saying. And if, for example, they say the gender-based violence is no longer a problem in our community. Let's hope that we ever get to that point in South Africa where we say it's no longer a problem. And the minister then discusses with the National Commissioner that according to the community, gender-based violence is no longer a problem, therefore you don't need that additional resources. Then the National Commissioner can say, but Minister, do you know that gender-based violence is still a problem, and we've got statistics to support this or evidence to support that. So I don't think there's any topic that's off limit for discussion insofar as it relates to policing. However, the issue is the execution thereof and how it impacts on policing. That is the question where the responsibility or the involvement of a minister stops. And specifically to prevent political interference in the day-to-day operations of the police.
So the juristic nature would either be policy or direction.
That is correct.
Thank you.
No, thanks. I think the chair anticipated the clarification that I sought or wanted to seek. So you can proceed from paragraph 98.
Secondly, the National Commissioner is called in terms of section 207 of the Constitution to exercise control over and manage SAPS. The National Commissioner remains responsible for operational control and resource allocation or distribution. Again, where a minister identifies a priority area, the task of how to implement and what resources to deploy rests with the National Commissioner. In circumstances where the ministers say that a particular issue is no longer a priority issue, then it is within the remit of the National Commissioner to determine how best to operationalize that expression. Turning to the facts before this commission, the minister unlawfully strayed into the constitutional competence of a National Commissioner when he issued a letter for the disbandment of the PKTT. What would have been an appropriate path is for the minister to express that he no longer considers political killings to be a priority and direct the National Commissioner to consider and take steps to align it with his directive. It can never be appropriate for a minister to instruct the National Commissioner not only to disband the PKTT, but also to say that the disbandment must be done immediately. That constitutes not only an usurping of powers of a National Commissioner, but also undermines the constitutional objects of the SAPS as set out in section 205(3), especially in respect of ongoing criminal investigations and the potential risk that further crimes may be committed. Thirdly, due to the nature of the offences under investigation, a task team like the PKTT is privy to politically sensitive materials, and its dockets would need to be treated with the same sensitivity. The dockets could not simply be taken back to their respective police stations and investigated in the normal course. I say this because politically related cases are highly organized and are executed through different role players, such as hitmen, spotters, coordinators, and persons who ordered the hits. In addition, they typically involved a conspiracy implicating well-resourced senior politicians and business persons.